Hey there, hello. In this video, we're going to talk about the 7 steps that Wayne Dyer gives in The Power of Intention for overcoming ego's hold on you. He says these are all designed to help prevent you from falsely identifying with the self-important ego. So the ego is that part of your brain that really believes that you are who you are, what you do, what others think of you, and that you're separate from God, you're separate from what's missing in your life, you're separate from other people. And so it's just that identifying with your reputation and your achievements and that mindset. Okay, so he gives 7 steps, and the first one is to stop being offended. He says, this is your ego at work convincing you that the world shouldn't be the way that it is. So it reminds me of something I was thinking driving home last night. I don't know why I got onto this, maybe to share it here, but I was just thinking about how when we're embarrassed, for some reason, that's a learning opportunity to learn something. And the ego is offended and makes it a negative thing. But I've learned, and I want to encourage you, whenever you realize that you are feeling bad about something that you hear, like you hear something, all of a sudden you get that like sick feeling, and you feel like, usually it's like you did something wrong. Somehow you did something wrong, or somebody else did something wrong, but usually that reflects, some kind of wrong belief in you when you take offense at something. To just realize where that feeling comes from, and if you can identify that that's coming from the ego, you can correct it, or you can be thankful for the opportunity, or you can look at what you can learn and grow from. And the ego just holds that, like, we hold this idea of like, I knew that, or I shouldn't have done that, but instead we can accept who we are and accept where we're at and be grateful for, like I said, something kind of stupid the other day, like not stupid, but once somebody replied to it, I realized that it was insensitive because I'm not up on the news, and I was like, oh, I feel kind of embarrassed. But I realized it helped me realize there's a reason I need to stay more up on the news, so that when I'm talking to somebody, like I just met somebody at my kid's pool and we were just talking, then I realized to be more sensitive to their experience in the world, I need to be more up on the news. And that was really valuable. That's something I've been thinking about, and that was really valuable. And I need, feedback for me just from the work, like from God. Like that was God pointing something out to me. But it's so easy for my ego to be offended or to be embarrassed. Or anyways, number 1, stop being offended. He says being offended creates the same destructive energy that offended you in the first place. Instead of looking for fear in the situation, look for love, and that's going to point you in the right way. All right, let go of your need to win. And this comes from separation. This, letting go of needing to win by not agreeing that the opposite of winning is losing. That's ego's fear. You don't have to be winning something to be successful. You don't have to be winning something in our world's definition in order to be living your purpose and making a difference. It's a false metric. It's not of the spirit. It's not God's metric. It doesn't really matter. Such a good list. Okay, I'm going to move through these. Let go of your need to be right. Yeah, he talks so much, he and the different authors talk about it's more important to be kind than to be right. And when you're focused on love, when you find that centered place with God, where you're looking outward and focusing to serve and focusing on love, you're thinking about other people and you're already centered, you're already, enough in yourself, then you're not going to need to be right or to be seen to be right in any particular situation. It actually doesn't matter, but our ego wants to protect its precious ego and reputation and even sense of like the fragile thing that it's building in your own brain of just like, this is who I am, and if this is attacked, then there's a fear response, right? Okay, number 4, let go of your need to be superior. And yeah, he says true nobility isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you used to be. Stay focused on your own growth. And I know we've heard this, but I want you to know this is a spiritual principle, and it comes back to this idea that we're not separate. We're all one. We're all spirit. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all, all of humanity has this collective consciousness, which we'll get into later. But we're all one. We're all one with the Holy Spirit. God's Spirit is in every one of us, and we're actually all, we'll get into the science of it too. We're way more connected than we realize on the surface. And so, and we'll get into the concept of genius. Everybody's a genius. You have genius in you. I have genius in me. I really had to wrestle through this because I really kind of oscillate between feeling like, oh, I'm better than some people, so because I want to be able to do this thing, and so I need to be better to do that. Or, I think we all swing between the two of like, oh, I'm good at this. Because your ego's trying to build up this story that I'm good, I'm special, because I need to be special, because that's the need of the ego, to be separate and to be special. Or, you swing to the other side and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. But when you find that right place, you can realize that you have genius and you are beautiful, and you have that in order to serve the world and to serve others. And there's a poem I'll read by, what's a quote? By Martha Graham. But you are called to live out your full expression of who you are, because the world needs to see that. Somebody needs to see what God has put in you. He's put in you for somebody to see. And if you do not live out your full unique expression of who God made you to be, we will not see it. The world will not have it. You can go look under poems, and I'm going to read that. But anyways, let go of your need to be superior, but that does not mean letting go of awesome. Embrace awesomeness. You are awesome, but realize that everybody else is too, and we're all here to help each other express our own awesomeness, our own part of the mind of God, our own incarnation of the Spirit. Okay. Number 5, let go of your need to have more. The mantra of the ego is more. And we'll get into this on the chapter on abundance, but he says, universal source is content with itself, constantly expanding and creating new life, never trying to hold on to its creations for its own selfish means. It creates and lets go. As you let go of egos need to have more, you unify with that source. You create, attract to yourself, and let it go, never demanding more. So, we are going to talk about abundance and how to break your upper limit and expand to your full potential and bring, financial and personal and emotional and all the kinds of abundance, like attracting abundance into your life. But it's about being centered and accepting who you are, where you are right now, and believing that cultivating this attitude of gratitude and that you have everything that you need right now, and focusing on what you were meant to put into the world, and then thanking God that He's going to bring the resources to you and the creative ideas to bring the resources to bring the abundance, so that you can make the mark on the world, so that you can be that full expression of who you were meant to be in the world. And so it's this place of letting go of needing, of the attitude of scarcity, the attitude of want or need, or that you're somehow not full enough in this very moment. Anyways, okay, so letting go of your need to have more, that attitude of more. So it's a really important distinction, which we'll get into. Let go of identifying yourself on the basis of your achievements. Yeah, all emanates from source. You and that source are one. You are not this body and its accomplishments. We'll get to that. Let me know if you haven't seen me talk about that and you want to see that. That is something that I'm definitely walking out. I was a straight A student, achiever, teacher's pet, just that kind of mindset. That's how I grew up. So I've been having to unlearn and then retrain myself to not identify with my own achievements, but anything where you see me talk about identity, and I'll get to his chapter on self-worth and on purpose. All of those things really help us rewrite our story. But basically, in its essence, we are not our achievements, because that's a hamster wheel, that's a treadmill. That's where you're always having to do more to get the next hit of affirmation and self-worth. Instead, you need to find your peace with God, that you are a daughter of God, you are a son of God, you are a divine creation, you already are who you are. And that is enough, and you are enough. You are here and living and breathing, and that is enough. You are successful, you are a person, you are here. And then to find that right mental state, that attitude, to find acceptance and gratitude and peace and love and joy, and just like to find that state. And then like it was a miracle for me when I finally really discovered that state in the last year. And it was just, you really do have this peace, like, God, take me now, I could go, I'm at peace with myself. And then you kind of feel God like, all right, now we can do work, now we can do stuff, because you've truly just let go of even your need to be alive, because you've found peace with just like, you found peace with yourself, like, I am okay, I am here, and that is enough. And then God's like, it's not your time yet, you're here. And I love the way Marianne Williamson says, you know, the way that you pray is, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? Who would you have me talk to? Just like, what would you have me do? What is my mission? What am I here for? Show me how my design, you know, is meant to walk out in the world. Okay, number 7, let go of your reputation. This has been hard. This is hard. It's because we're social creatures. We are community. Like, love and community and relationship is in us. Like, that is who we are. We are meant to be connected. We are connected. We're more connected than we realize. But when we believe that we're disconnected and we contribute to the disconnection because we believe it, we separate ourselves from others, and that becomes the root of just so many bad things. Anyways, letting go of your reputation, just be open and ready to let go of thinking about what others think of you and being so preoccupied, and let go of this idea that what others think of you is something that you need to take in and then use to assess yourself. Oh, there's a quote somewhere, I don't know where it is, but it's that idea of like, no, stop abdicating your own sense of self to wait for responses and reactions that often you're even interpreting other people's actions and projecting on them, well, they think this of me, and then using that to help define yourself and to create your self-identity. Don't do that anymore. There's a better way. All right, that is enough on that video. I'll see you in the next one.